Yo, make a quick video. If you guys remember, back in September, I made a video about SECO. Funny enough, that SECO is running again. Back in April, market was really hot, really, really hot, and I made this video as a throwback video to talk about how strong stocks move in a very high liquidity environment, right? How do really strong stocks move, right? So, um, the topic I want to cover today, which I covered in the YouTube vid that I mentioned on my Twitter, are these quick pullbacks. We get a high day clear out and a quick pullback, right? And one thing I always notice, I was like, man, they really punish shorts who chase big, big dumps like this. You get a really strong stock that's squeezing shorts, get a quick dump. I always notice this is always ripe for manipulation, right? Especially when you get like these big 10, 15% dumps in a few minutes. And what happens is it creates all this empty space up here. And what's actually happening, it's not only are longs, getting shaken out or they're selling their profits and shorts chasing, but if uh, if you use something like a bookmap, I've been using bookmap a lot lately, and it's actually been amazing. You'll actually see why these moves happen. The reason why these moves happen, like these big manipulated moves, is because there's so few orders up here. There's so few people trapped, and there's so few people looking to sell up here that like pretty much a lot of times when you get these quick dumps, um, everyone's averages become set in this new structure, right? There's very few people up here, and they're all right here. So a lot of times, the best short is almost always waiting for, in midday. This could be an hour, 2 hours later, waiting for the stock to get back over the structure, right? And sometimes it squeezes the highs. We saw that today. Sometimes it just traps and pulls back. We saw that today. SEC was a good one. Get big up only. Downhaul, right? You never want to short out of a downhaul, pretty much ever. Pretty much ever. Like shorting, trying to like read the weakness, unless you're scalping. But if you're trading for a bigger move, um, try to short this, this bounce or this bounce or this bounce. Really not the play. Which again, like what you want is to realize that all these shorts are stuck down here. This is where their averages are. You wait for the rotation, and then you make a judgment call. Do you think the structure will push this to high day, or do you think this is like just a backside clear out, right? I actually misplayed this one. I actually shorted too early, and then I shorted at 1.3, and I actually stopped myself out at 1.37, and I thought I would get a secondary setup. I kind of didn't like how I was more than 15% away from high day, um, and I just totally misplayed this ticker. But I actually mostly went long today. Just because I didn't see, just using this factor, using this because we saw all these SSR stocks do the same thing, right? So um, here's MNTS. You get a big push, and MNTS, you got to remember, last 2 times it ran, it produced massive, massive fades. So everyone's looking to smack this, right? Whenever stock is one massive fade, two massive fades, people are just trained to think it's going to happen again, and that could form part of your thesis, right? Um, and the long I hit was actually this one down here. Um, I saw this push, and I saw, again, made a big push towards highs and a big pull, right? And I didn't short up here, and I was like, well, did I miss the, am I bearish and I missed the short, or am I bullish and this is the long? I was like, you know what? A lot of stuff is really strong today. A lot of these SSR names are making these deep pullbacks. People are chasing. And again, I've been using Bookmap a lot more. I noticed on this bounce, both on this bounce and this bounce, they were stacking the bid in the mid, like around 14.16. They were 14.14, 14.16, or having, you'll see the algo, they'll make this big pullback, big deep pullback, because in a very similar concept, when stocks make aggressive moves, there's very little shares on the bid, so it's very easy for a rigger to make a big move, and then they could just sell through all the bids because there's very little bids actually. Like when it's up here at like 4.8, the amount of bids between 4.8 and 4.2 are very small, so it's very easy to rig it, to make a deep pullback, and then you'll see the algo just start stacking the bids on the book map. It's really interesting to see how they make their big shakeout, they make their big short trap, and then they stack the bids, right? And then comes over here, doesn't even touch those bids. I was long 424, caught the entire move up to the 530s. Really nice long. Again, using that same concept of shorts chasing, SSR. Most of everyone has their averages down here. They think these bounces are weak, right? And that's why you get the big aggressive rotation, right? So that's another one. What else? TPST. Here's a super quick one, right? This one, look at this. High day was 5.7. High day clear out here. Deep, quick pullback. And again, you can actually see this on BookBed. They stack the bids in the 520s, and they just rotate and uphalt them, rotate into an uphalt, right? This is just a clear out short trap. High day clear out, shorts hitting this, they get confirmation. It looks really weak. Get two big red candles, uphalt, and then the big squeeze, right? So, and again, we have the very similar to SECO. The chart I just showed you from April is April 4th, by the way. Deep pullback. Everyone has their average. And again, when I see everyone has their averages down here, I just put my alert. I just had my alert in the 560. I think at 660, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait for a rotation. And the only short I really took on this was, again, very similar to SECO. When it made a big push, it pulled back, and it did that 1 minute flag trap that I made a video about, where you have this little 7.2 lower high, and what they did is they stacked the ask at 7.2. They break through the ask, and then all the buying stops, and that becomes your short, right? So I had a 719 short. They did a big look at this. They dumped it. This soaked all the way back towards 7, actually above 7, 7.1. So it went here, massive green. This was a massive green candle. Stalled up here, pulled back, made a second push, and then rolled over, right? And this was a nice little trade. Sadly, I just, since I was I should have had my risk at high day, but I moved my risk to 7.2 and actually got stopped out. I took a little bit of profit down here and I got stopped out on this candle. And then it failed to push again, not only here, but especially here. And then I went in like 1/3 size in the 720s. And I was holding that most of the day. But strong stocks are strong. Sometimes they don't get big fades. I ended up covering in the after hours, so wasn't really a big winner. But yeah, I do want to just mention that strong stocks, strong market. When you get deep, super quick pullbacks, especially on these these heavily manipulated millions of shares per minute stocks, where you know shorts could be chasing, you really want to wait. And sometimes, like, look, this took an hour. It usually takes an hour, sometimes two, sometimes even three. I would say about an hour, but you don't want to chase weakness. Unless, again, if you're scalping, I don't scalp. But unless you're scalping, you don't want to chase weakness. And wait for the rotation. Like, look at where the lower highs are. Wait the rotation above it, and then pick a bias. Do you think it's going to high day? Do you think it's going to long trap? If it is going to long trap, what type of pattern do you want to trade? Right? I like this pattern. I like a pattern that pushes towards highs, pulls back, and then invites retail to get in on the next leg up. I like that. I like to see this. I like to see the ask get really thick. I like to see the ask get broken. I like to see the buying stop. It's a nice candle. It's a nice candle short. So, yeah, I just want to make a little video on that. So, hope that was interesting. This is really good stuff to know. Like, this is the type of market where chasing, you lose a lot of money from chasing, right? This is when you need good habits. You need good habits to survive strong markets, because you're going to get deep pullbacks. You're going to get 20% pullbacks, and it's going to seem like you're missing. Look at this. This went from 7.5 to 5.7, right? It's going to seem like you're missing a whole move, right? Especially on stocks that made big dumps. You had this day on Friday and this day on Thursday. On Thursday and Friday we had massive 50% faders left and right. So It's very easy to chase and be rewarded for it. And then, but the way strong market works is there's a couple days where that you make a lot of money that way, and then another day comes along where early in my career I would make you would have $20,000 days, and then suddenly a day like this comes along and you lose 10K, and it's just like you get these wild swings in your account, and it's not fun. It's if the market's going your way, you make a ton of money. If it's not going your way, and you have all these bad habits, you lose. It's not fun. And I've been there before. So um, hope that was insightful. I just want to make it. I did want to reference SECO from April because I made a video on it. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Um, this is the exact type of stuff we saw today, and we're going to be seeing it as long as the market is strong. We're going to be seeing plays like this. Okay, so um, you know, just it's one of those things you have to train, like just how you have to train your brain to see big pushes as weak. You also have to train your brain to see aggressive pullbacks as strong, especially in this type of market. So it's a bullish factor. It doesn't always mean it's going to squeeze high day, but you can form a good thesis about what is about to happen, especially if you're going to be trading midday. You know, um, if you're a morning short trader, maybe this stuff doesn't really apply. But if you like to trade midday, and you like to trade in strong markets, this stuff's really important. So, hope that was insightful. So, have a good one, guys.